What's good, YouTube? And welcome to Edison format, never stopping to cease and amaze us. First place in Swiss at the giant card, the biggest Edison tournament there is with the highest stakes. Tiva was played as a 3 of in Fish Frog OTK, and the profile's up over on Fraser Smith channel if you'd like to go and see. Basically, you're setting up to stall, and then you spell and trap disruption to Fish OTK, and Tiva fits in and can even be recycled within the deck. When this card is tribute summoned successfully, your opponent cannot declare an attack during his/her next turn, and you can also use Threatening Roars, Wabakus, but this fits right in the ability to make that setup happen, and has now gone over $20 freaking dollars. So it's time to start looking through your bulk holos, especially if you've been around a while. I wonder how many I actually have sitting around. I love old video game promos, and I never did end up selling them, so I'm sure I have a few. Molcharmy FUWALOS is causing those good old TCG problems we talked about of really skyrocketing up in price. A lot of people just going ahead and securing their $150. Let's just talk about that. $150 from the top rated sellers. The only other options are 0% feedback and a 50% feedback through for sale seller, and then a light play. $150. We saw this coming. We talked about how the seller cap is gone at events, how this card would exemplify that, and then it started to chill out a little instead of just going up from that 130, 135, and here we are. Ban list hype, players getting ready earlier than usual, and Konami so unlikely to do something with this card until they cash in and resell it again and again and again, and maybe another time. Now, we're always speculating with ban lists, so it is speculation at best to say it will continue to go up and be even more demanded for the WCQ, but I'm guessing with how the community is so reactive to ban lists, if we get a, WCQ updated ban list that doesn't really do much around this, some people are gonna be ponying up to be playing at the event. Crossover Breakers, speaking of huge price changes, we now have a Ryzeal temporarily on top of the QCRs as buyouts continue to really go for the highest version of the deck, while the other cards are actually kind of chilling a little and getting listed more even into all of their sales at around 30 even for Ryzeal at this point. So Konami really hit a stride with having 10 QCRs, having 4 ultras per box, making it to where 3 cases would enable those extra copies to be around instead of struggling for just those 2 playsets, being well above 3 playsets in those cases. And I gotta say, even though I miss our all foil side sets, it's really, really working. I also want to point out something from the comments section the other day. Somebody was like, you were so wrong about pre-sales on both decks. No, I was pretty right on with Ryzeal. I said, I think this is overpriced, but I also think it could be more by the WCQ and that it could go down and start coming back up. It's coming back up quicker than I thought it would. With Malice, I'm absolutely wrecked. I am just defeated consistently by waifu tax decks that end up not being the top of the meta, but end up being playable. Malice is far more playable than Dragon Maid was overall, although it found its engine into Dragon Link and did some impressive things. I want to say Malice is immediately better than that deck. I do think, though, that it's overvalued for what it is, and waifu tax always ends up throwing me for a loop as market man. So yes, very wrong on that one. Not so wrong on Ryzeal and its trajectory. Now, for both decks, they like to play Meteorological Aggregator. This card is able to be sent to the graveyard to target a face-up monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of the turn. So Malice can actually send this with a Firewall, and then you also have it within Ryzeal. And the super rare out of Darkwing Blast, Now, a solid $7 card here, and it's had its range of buyouts going. You can see it would start to fall back, go back up, go down, go back up. Right now, it's at one of its highest points ever through its buyouts. Kashtira still doing solid work, but I felt like the pros in their profiles were kind of insulting this deck and calling it the worst option. Yet here we see it continuing to really spike. They were saying Malice was the harder matchup, that this didn't give as many problems from a lot of the stuff I was watching, yet $6 for the secret rare on Kashtira Birth. Kashtira Unicorn way down in listings and up in price, back over $10 for both versions. And also muskets were being played with Fiend Smith. Starfire here is now at 11 listings and going back up. Remember, this was originally short printed, and then you still have a holo version though, but Dual Overload did have its kind of quality control issues to some degree. I'm seeing Crossdom though actually fully chilled out from its buyouts despite no reprint. So let me know how you see that engine alongside Fiend Smith, how you end up playing it, because surprising to see Starfire so up, yet Crossdom not all that sought after. Kashtira, however, I think that the deck is still a solid option, but it does feel like it's not as good as the other decks and how it mixes in my opinion. My Discord was even bringing up, maybe it could go with Ubel, and it's like, yes, keep trying to keep the deck going strong. But that's what happens, right? Tearlament was actually able to adapt. Now, I, with my time-traveling info brokers, brought up Dragon Maids, and then the new support dropped, and now we see actually versus me just bringing it up on how Waifu Tax continues to beat me up. Well, it goes even further beyond with further buyouts on House, Quarter Century, Secret, and it's starting to trail back up quickly here towards $24. Sky Strikers are getting some buyouts here. Widow Anchor, oddly enough, the Battles of Legend version going, as the Dark Saviors has already pushed up, so now it's pushing past its Unlimiteds. Kind of weird champ to me. I would go with a First Ed OG over the Battles version for a couple more dollars, but $20 seems like a lot for a secret to me. Mecha Hornet Drones is up for the super rare. You can see here that they are $5 plus. And then Azalea, which does have a generic aspect to it as well, has been up over 20 for just a little bit, around 22 to 24, with only its one printing. Pankratops has the fall off of all time, while the Quarter Century secret rare is going up right now thanks to the ban list, and the collector rare is, oddly enough to say, coming back up. It fell off from $158 and consistently being over triple digits for the longest. The only money Ancient Guardians really had to take a name to itself, down to 15, and with the ban list it's only gone up to 20. Quarter Century erasure of all other rarities that are not old school, ultimate, or super respected champion pack, tournament pack supers, or old school ultras. Like, this is crazy how this little Quarter Century secret rare made this fall 90%. I can't believe it. I hadn't checked in on this forever, and what a wild ride. My Discord keeps bringing up openings of the Spirit Gate every single time I at them, every single time I see a discussion. This is coming up. They're watching it like a hawk. So be aware this might have some kind of forced buyout past the $1.50 mark for the Quarter Century secret rare, since it peeled off the list a little. But yeah, for some reason this is like all they can talk about, and I'm not sure why. Like, oh man, this is maybe somebody's in too deep from the ban list bets, but I don't really see it all that much, especially with the Ubel hit. Transcode Talker here, the ultra rares are going. The maximum gold even is down in quantity, so be aware, both versions going, but the ultra is really up in price here. 3 and then quickly headed towards 5. So this card obviously played in Malice, and you're able to use it like within the format. Yeah, it's gonna go places. Let me know if it's being played in anything else besides that, though, but that's enough to really push it on up. Let me know what you think about what's going on majorly through the TCG. The Edison thing blew me away, too. a lot of expensive decks in what's usually our cold winter market, and people preparing earlier than ever for the WCQ season. And it seems like a lot of genuine hype for Yu-Gi-Oh! And how it's being played with these new decks. How long till they're sick and groaning about them? I give it 3 weeks, but no, seriously, it does seem like people are really enjoying kind of the reset button between the ban list, Ryzeal, and Malice coming in for power creep.